and we got punked.
I know. I think we look awesome. Guys, seriously, why are we not loving on the Halloween?
I'm not going to say too much because he'll say too much if I say too much. But somebody took too much time in the makeup chair.
Wow.
So we look like the guys that didn't participate.
Now you're no.
I participated.
No, you didn't.
Boogie, what was your costume going to be?
I'm in costume. I'm a broadcaster today.
Oh, bro.
No, first of all, it's not even a broadcaster outfit. You would have a suit and a tie on. You would do the whole nine.
You're going to go broadcast.
Modernized broadcaster is not a costume.
Boogie said he was a broadcaster to white tee.
Well, half of us. I love
we look great. Trap anchor.
I think we look. I've never looked better, so I'm happy about it. We do get to talk a lot of basketball. Look at my cheekbones are cheekboning. I love that for me. We got a lot of basketball to talk about. We're not going to start with the Spurs because our producer's a Lakers fan, but we will start with two other great teams, Bucks and Warriors. This was a great one. I kept getting notices about it. Bucks winning without Giannis, 121-10. Ryan Rollins, I mean goodness, career-high 32 points, 8 assists. Miles Turner finishes with 17. Steph had his 27, and Giannis, of course, was out of this one with a knee soreness. So, Bucks over Warriors and no Giannis on the floor, Lou. How impressed was this?
That's a really good win for them, you know, especially with these role players and guys that's playing their position, having Giannis out of the lineup. You know, I said it earlier this week, less is more with this Bucks team right now because there's a clear pecking order. These guys know their role players. They know their roles when they go out on the basketball floor. So when the big dog steps out, that gives you an expanded role of doing things that you've already been accustomed to doing. You know, some of these guys have just been taking the opportunities that they've been given. Cole Anthony had a good night, but you got to shine a light on Ryan Rollins. Career night, throwing in 32. When somebody like that is out and then having 8 different guys score at least 10 points for you, that's a really good team win and impressive. So I think Milwaukee is putting the East on alert. We keep talking about the East being wide open, and it can go any way. Listen, if this team is off to this hard start and you don't know which way that the East is going to go, this is good for the Milwaukee Bucks, for real.
Yeah, this is a hell of a win and a hell of a start for the Bucks, and you can't smile at me. And I can't take myself seriously.
Yes, you can. Yes, you
talking
can.
like this, but I don't know if it's like when the Warriors saw that Giannis was out and he was late scratch, if there was that natural letdown. There's that letdown because, like Lou said, the big dog's out. It's going to have to be a collective effort from the Bucks to get this win. But that's exactly what they did. There was 8 players in double figures. Everyone stepped up. There's the unsung hero like Ryan Rollins, who we'll get to, but he had a great game. He's had a great season. This isn't a fluke. This is his 4th game in a row of actually balling. So it's exactly what they have to do. And we talked about this yesterday. It's not necessarily a bad thing that they don't have a second option, right? Because when you're getting 6, 7, 8, 9 guys in double figures, it makes up for that other 20-point score. So this is great. Obviously, they're a better team. They need Giannis to kind of be one of those elite teams in the Eastern Conference. But this was a great experience for this team to have, and these guys that have bigger roles later down the series, in the season, where now their coach has trust in these guys, and it takes games like this.
Couldn't agree more. Obviously, this game is a coach's dream, a franchise player's dream, when you can miss a game and your team can still come out, perform at a high level, and not only beat a team, but beat, one of the top teams in the league as of right now. So, great team win. This is a plus for this organization moving forward. Obviously, we've had a lot of talks about, if we feel like it should be another star, should they add more talent, whatever the case may be. Well, obviously, I do believe another star is needed to make a late push, but, I was absolutely wrong last night, and I'm okay with that. But with that being said, I do still feel, they'll need a little more down the line, especially closer to the playoffs and when the playoffs do start. We all know how adjustments are made. We know how teams plan for certain players, especially the best player on the team. Once they start icing him out, who is the guy we can depend on a nightly basis? Obviously, Ryan Rollins had a huge night. This is a good thing moving forward. It's going to build confidence. Obviously, he's going to gain more trust in his coach. So maybe this can be the guy moving forward.
And we can argue back and forth about this, but when I look at this team, I look at a Cole Anthony, right?
I love Cole Anthony.
That's a guy that can go out and hoop. He can do his thing.
Great spark.
Absolutely. We know what Bobby Portis brings to the table. Toughness, championship caliber guy. Now we got this Ryan Rollins. We got a young fella coming out and giving you 32s. Like, that should be encouraging for guys. All Giannis needs is some help. Like, you don't care where the help come from. It don't have to be one guy to give you 25. If you can get 3 guys to give you 12 to 15, that's just equivalent. And I like the style of play that they're playing with. So you gotta give Doc Rivers some credit too. These guys, they putting that ball, they're catching. not wasting dribbles, putting it on the ground, putting a lot of pressure on the rim, kicking it out to three-point shooters. You running them off, they're attacking again, and the ball is moving around, it's moving, and they're a high assist team. So you got to give them credit when they're playing the right way. So do they need star power? I don't think so. I think you just need guys to just buy into what you're trying to do, what you're trying to build. And if you got Giannis still motivated, I think that gives anybody a chance to win when you got Giannis and he wants to play at a high level and his teammates are right there with him on the same page.
And I think Boogie mentioned Kevin Porter. He's not in the lineup yet. He is that other kind of ISO, break you down guy. So he's on the way. Cole Anthony, again, like we just talked about, he gives them that spark. And then everyone else can basically shoot the ball. So when you have Giannis, who gets downhill so much, gets out in transition, gets to the basket, you have to have proper spacing. When you guys got like A.J. Green, you got Miles Turner, who they add, who's one of the better pick-and-pop fives, the team makes sense and the team fits. So I'm not surprised at all by their start. Just have to have consistency from these other guys because you know what you're going to get from Giannis. And every time Giannis on the floor, you have a chance to win.
I do think this is interesting, by the way. Rollins, Green, and Anthony, all three of those guys combined last night for 58 points, and all three of those guys combined make less than $10 million this season. So I think that's like a cool perspective on sort of how the Bucks have done what they've done. I don't believe when we started the season or right before the season started, we were necessarily looking at the Bucks as perhaps actually contenders out in the East. The 4-1 start, did that change anything for you? Are you looking at them differently at all?
I mean, obviously you have to respect what they're doing. So to sit there and say you're not looking at them, that would just be a flat-out lie. In my opinion, they're overachieving. They've overexceeded a lot of people's expectations for this season, and obviously the biggest thing was because of the roster star power. But they're overachieving, and that's okay. This is a good team. They're finding a way to win games. They're finding a way to feature their franchise guy. Guys know their roles. Everything is flowing perfectly for this team right now. But I still stand by what I say. When later on down the season, when we get closer to playoffs, even in that playoff run, I still feel they will need another go-to guy. And it may be there. I don't know if that person is quite there. It could be a KPJ. It could be a Ryan Rollins. But as of right now, I'm not sure.
It's also 5 games. Like no one thought the Bulls were going to be 4-0. No one thought the Sixers. They have talent, but are they going to be healthy enough to compete? And now those are the only 2 undefeated teams in the Eastern Conference. While the Knicks, who everyone claimed to be one of the better teams, they're 2-2. So I think it'll all level out once the season kind of gets going and gets in the thick of things. But it's a great start, and you can't ask for more if you're them. Hopefully this knee soreness from Giannis isn't too serious because they're obviously going to need him, but it's still a lot of basketball to be playing, and the fact that they are 4-1 with what they have is a great start.
Yeah, I don't know if they're overachieving, but we did have questions. Like coming into the season, we did have questions. We didn't know what the identity of this team would be when Dame Lillard steps out, when you lose Chris Middleton a couple years ago from a championship run. When you lose a lot of that identity around Giannis, you just got questions going into the season. You hear the trade talks and all of that stuff. So to say we're surprised, you could say somewhat.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. But anytime you got one of the top 5 players on your team in the league,
you
got a chance to win basketball games. Simple and plain.
By the way, in fairness, also, all of the narrative around the Bucks has been, well, Giannis is probably not going to be there much longer.
Right.
So that's how we started the season, was with that cloud, and here we are.
The surprise is this Ryan Rollins.
Amazing.
That's the surprise. And again, I don't think it's a fluke. I don't think he's going to average what he's averaging now, but he had a game of 32, a game of 25, 14, and 13. He's efficient, shooting like 52% from the field, 44 from 3, and damn near 90 from the free throw line. So, again, he can create, and if you watch these highlights, he's a bigger guard. This was a bit of a revenge game last night because his career started as a second-round pick in Golden State. Yeah, exactly. And look at, by the way, look at the point of the game here. 3 minutes in the fourth, 2 minutes in the fourth.
Okay.
Like, they put the ball in his hands to close this game out against a really good defensive team. So I don't think this is a fluke. I think they found something to him. I think he's legit, bona fide NBA, clearly he's starting now for them, but I think he's going to find a real role no matter what happens with their roster. He's a 20, 25-minute a night guy. So it's a great
crazy turnaround.
This is one of the greatest stories in the early part of the season. So
most improved, right now today.
I'm not gonna be Debbie Downer, but my message to Ryan Rollins would be, hey, bro, you in the scout report now.
Oh,
so
for
sure.
It'll get harder.
Take it up a notch because defense are gonna start game planning for you. They're gonna start loading up and take away some of the things that make you successful. So go ahead and take it up a notch and keep going.
I do love it because his 3 prior seasons average was 6. points. Now he's at 18. Like if this was baseball, he'd be drug tested.
And again, I think
something's going on here. That's
Probably
a
drug
heck
tested in that
of a
NBA.
turnaround.
I think those numbers are obviously a little inflated because the last 2 games.
Of course.
But again, the kid is
They count.
balling. Watching those highlights, that's not like that. The kid can play.
Not related to this particular game, Miles Turner joined Thanasis' podcast. Appears to have taken a bit of a shot at his former teammate, Tyrese. Listen.
Also, he knows he's protected too. So he can go out there, talk shit, say whatever the hell he wants to do, and then, you know, he knows he has backup at the end of the day. Now,
100%.
he's not going to be talking the same shit if you're in the middle of the street or whatever the fuck.
No.
Like,
That's
that's what guys are doing in this league.
So playing the part of troll and victim on the floor.
That's nothing.
That's clickbait. If you watch the entirety of the clip, he goes through a laundry list of things, of positive things to say about Tyrese, and obviously their teammates. When you have a personal connection, a personal friendship with somebody, you can speak a little bit more candid about them. That's my dog. That's my homie. I can say some of these things that other people wouldn't say because I have that comfort in knowing that is our friendship. So this is clickbait to me. Good job of clipping that up, whatever, for that podcast.
Yeah.
I respect the work. It's smart. It went viral. It did its job. But the entirety of the clip, he gave a lot of praise to Holly.
I watched this too, and Miles, I think, even put out a tweet being like, stop. There's nothing here. He loved playing with Tyrese, and he's got a point. Like that, Tyrese does talk trash, like, but that's part of his game. That's part of the competition of on the court in those 48 minutes. So it is like, is he gonna do that in the street? Maybe not. But I don't like. That's not his. That's
not your job.
Yeah, like he's doing that as part of his game on the court. So this is nothing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Clickbait, but, you know, to defend what he's saying, to say that, you know, Tyrese is protected, every NBA player is protected. So
Especially if you're the best player on that
you're
team.
the best player, you're protected. That's just how it goes. But, yeah, there's not much to say about that. So.
Yeah.
We have our
Clickbait.
first fitter brick of the season.
here we go.
Halloween edition, because Giannis, of course, not playing, but
Oh,
still,
Boogie, they hate us on this one.
still loves Halloween. Giant minion. Giant.
I like the spirit.
I like the spirit, man.
It looks hilarious.
I like the
silly.
spirit. I would like to see what other superstars got dressed as well. So
You two can't say nothing about
Yeah, y'all don't even get
All right, well, I
talk
chill
about
out.
I'm literally dressed.
No, you're
Take
not.
a break.
Damn it, that backfired.
No, you're not. By the way, I'm bummed that the Spurs aren't playing today because remember Wemby last year did that crazy, whatever that was, tall man
Oh
thing
yeah,
with the
that
slender
was
man.
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to get that. this
Scarecrow
time.
looking thing.
The most terrifying I've seen. But we did get to watch the Spurs play a little basketball last night.
Oh, we just got
Let's talk about redemption. Let's talk about patience paying off. Because what we are witnessing right now, Dub Nation, is the rise of Jonathan Kuminga. The player many thought would break this team apart, now becoming the one holding it together. 5 games into this season, the Golden State Warriors are 4-1. And it's not just about Steph Curry's leadership or Jimmy Butler's grit. It's about a 23-year-old forward from the Congo who refused to back down when the pressure was highest. It's about a young man who went from being benched in playoff games to becoming the anchor of this new generation Warriors identity. Let's rewind to the offseason. Remember the tension? The contract stalemate between Kuminga and the front office wasn't just another negotiation. It was a full-blown saga that had fans questioning whether the dynasty was reaching its breaking point. Steph Curry wanted help. Steve Kerr wanted accountability. And Jonathan Kuminga wanted to prove he deserved to be part of the future, not traded away like an afterthought. For weeks, the entire NBA world speculated. Would Golden State move him? Would they risk losing him for nothing? Trade rumors flew everywhere. But the Warriors stood firm, played the long game, and right before the deadline, they locked him in. A 2-year, $46.8 million deal. And now that decision looks absolutely brilliant. Because through 5 games, Jonathan Kuminga is averaging over 16 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists, while shooting 54% from the field. But as head coach Steve Kerr said earlier this week, it's not just about the numbers, it's the vibe he's bringing. And that's exactly it. Kuminga isn't just filling the stat sheet, he's changing the tone, the energy, and the chemistry of this team. Remember when Steve Kerr used to bench him last season, when they couldn't see eye to eye on his role, effort, or body language? That's gone. What you're seeing now is a young man who finally understands his moment. and a coach who finally trusts him enough to let him own it. Before the Warriors face the Clippers, Kerr made it official. He'll start tonight, and he will be our starter going forward. He's been fantastic. And what did Kuminga do with that trust? He went out and made Kawhi Leonard and Harden look mortal. The Warriors beat the Clippers 98-79, and Jonathan Kuminga was the defensive engine behind that win. He guarded both Leonard and Harden throughout the night, holding them to a combined 2 of 6 shooting. The night before, he had already given Ja Morant nightmares, shutting down drives, bodying him in the paint, and showing the kind of physical presence Golden State's defense had been missing. And it's not just guards. Kuminga's doing this against bigs, too. The Warriors' new defensive identity thrives on switching everything, with Draymond Green now starting at center. That means Kuminga has to guard post players, and he's thriving in that role. He held Nikola Jokic to just 1 of 4 from the field in the opener against Denver, then frustrated bigs like Santi Aldama and Ivica Zubac in back-to-back games. We're not talking about flashes anymore. We're talking about consistency. He's no longer the raw, reckless kid who relied only on athleticism. Now he's a two-way force, reading passing lanes, rotating on time, attacking under control, and understanding spacing on both ends. His body language tells you everything. Confident, but calm. Focused, but fearless. He's not waiting for the game to come to him anymore. He's taking it. And for Steve Kerr, that's everything. Because this relationship between coach and player was once the most fragile part of the Warriors' locker room. Now it's the heartbeat. Kerr trusts him to start, to defend elite wings, to finish games, and Kuminga has rewarded that trust with maturity and performance. Let's put this into perspective. A year ago, the headlines were about whether Golden State would trade him for OG Anunoby or Pascal Siakam. Now, the talk is whether he could be the missing link that keeps the dynasty alive. This isn't just about one player's redemption. It's about the Warriors evolving as a franchise. They're no longer the old death lineup of small guards shooting from the logo. They're longer, tougher, and more adaptable. And Kuminga is at the center of that evolution. He's not just defending multiple positions, he's changing games with his versatility. When you can switch 1 through 5, protect the rim, and still score efficiently on offense, you become the kind of player every contender needs. Kuminga is doing what Andrew Wiggins did in the 2022 title run, but he's adding more energy, more downhill pressure, and more rebounding. Through 5 games, he's already had multiple 10-digit rebounding nights, which used to be rare in his game. He's learning how to crash the glass, how to draw fouls, and how to play physical without fouling out. Even the veterans see it. Draymond Green praised him recently, saying he's finally putting it all together. The tools, the mindset, everything. And Jimmy Butler, the newest voice in that locker room, has reportedly taken Kuminga under his wing, mentoring him on defensive discipline and mentality. When you watch this Golden State team now, you can feel the balance returning. Steph Curry no longer has to carry every offensive load. The team's pace and defensive intensity are higher, and Kuminga is one of the biggest reasons why. There's something poetic about this. The same player whose future once felt like a distraction is now the spark reigniting the franchise. If he keeps this up, the Warriors front office has 2 paths, and both are good. Either Kuminga continues developing into a future all-star and cornerstone for the post-Curry era, or his value skyrockets to the point where he becomes the centerpiece of a blockbuster trade for another superstar. Either way, it's a win-win situation for Golden State. And that's exactly what smart organizations do. They wait for talent to mature instead of giving up too early. Let's not forget, the Warriors could easily have moved on. The rumor mill was loud, but this franchise believed in Kuminga's upside, and now they're reaping the rewards. He's showing not just flashes of potential, but full-blown production, and he's doing it on both ends of the floor. This is the version of Jonathan Kuminga everyone's been waiting for, the explosive slasher who finally understands spacing. the defender who doesn't gamble but dictates matchups, the competitor who's not just reacting, he's leading. And here's what makes this even more powerful. He's doing it without trying to take the spotlight. He's not trying to be the star. He's just trying to win. And that attitude, that humility mixed with hunger is exactly what made the old Warriors great. Every dynasty needs an injection of youth, and Golden State might have just found its bridge to the future. Kuminga is becoming what Andre Iguodala used to be, the connective tissue between stars. The difference? He's younger, stronger, and hungrier. So let's make one thing clear. Jonathan Kuminga wasn't worth the drama. He was the drama. And sometimes, drama is exactly what greatness needs to be reborn. He fought through the doubt, the criticism, the trade talks, and the benchings, and he came out the other side as one of the most exciting young players in the NBA. The Warriors' decision to keep him wasn't just smart, it was franchise-defining. Because in a league that constantly chases the next big trade, Golden State chose development over desperation. And that might be what keeps them in championship contention longer than anyone expected. So Dub Nation, I'll say it again, Jonathan Kuminga was worth every headline, every argument, every bit of tension, because now he's showing what belief can build. He's not just playing for minutes anymore, he's playing for legacy. And if this is the new version of the Golden State Warriors, a team that blends experience, maturity, and rising youth, then the rest of the NBA better take notice, because the Dubs are back. They're balanced, they're believing again. Jonathan Kuminga is proving it. What do you think, Dub Nation? Is this the breakout season we've been waiting for? Can Kuminga become the next great two-way star in Golden State? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Smash that like button if you believe in this young core. And don't forget to subscribe to Warriors Nation News for all the latest updates, reactions, and stories that keep the Dub Nation alive. Because one thing's for sure, this team isn't done yet. The future is shining bright in Golden State.